lights when we were there. We were doing everything, total darkness out there. Just if there was moon or stars, that's what you had. But anyway, then the next thing you're going to lay out your, whatever you got with you, blanket or cloth or something, lay down and go to sleep if you can. You should be able to, though. You're going to be exhausted.
That's what I was saying before. You really have to be quite fit.
Oh, yeah. You better be. Now, then in the morning you're going to, oh, I forgot. What was I thinking about? I got you there. I told you about washing up, going to the toilet, making everything, and now don't forget to pray. Pray your Maghrib, pray your Isha, but you're going to pray them together. So you're going to pray Maghrib, 3 rak'ah, but then the Isha you're going to only pray 2. That's the prayer of the traveler. You're going to do that too. And then make some more dua, but go to bed, get some rest. Get up in the morning, you're going to pray your Fajr, so you got to make wudu again. Pray your Fajr, and then take off. And you're going to go back now and go back in to Mecca. You've got to do the tawaf and sa'i and so on, and come back out to Medina. And by now you're going to be pretty tired. You're going to be really tired. But again, you're going to make a lot of dua. And while you're in Medina, you make a lot of dua, asking Allah, Allah, help us, we need this, we want that. You'll recite some things in Arabic you might not know the meaning of, people will help you with, but try your best to recite in the language you know, to ask what you need, because Allah knows your heart. Allah knows all languages, so don't worry about that. This is between you and Him. And do ask as much as you can. That's very, very important.
Well,
now, when you've completed this part of your Hajj, that you have done the last circumambulation in Sa'i and Safa and Marwa, you can come out of Ihram to an extent. To an extent. How do you come out of Ihram? Well, one of the things, a man's going to get his hair cut. A woman can get some piece of her hair cut, but the man's going to probably get it shaved all the way off. Some brothers will start cutting their beards. By the way, during the Hajj, you can't cut your beard once you go into Ihram. You can't cut anything, can't cut your fingernails, can't do any of that. But now, you've done that. There's one more thing has to be done, and that's the sacrifice. Once you've taken your animal for sacrifice or slaughtered your animal and distributed the meat, then you go ahead and you're ready to go back as your normal self and do the things that were forbidden before.
Well, we've just about finished, but there's one thing.
Medina.
Actually, I haven't got to Medina, no.
Oh, I forgot.
just when you mentioned the final tawaf.
Tawaf al-wada.
Yes. Well, when you mentioned that, it took me back to my only Hajj. Something totally unexpected happened. Oh. Now, at this point, this is where the brothers can get up and make their wives and mothers a cup of tea.
Oh, this is the part where I was going to walk out the door.
Because I'm going to, well, we have to talk about this. We're going to talk about the monthly mensuration. And so go and get the kettle on, lads, and we're going to discuss this.
It's interesting. The Muslim scholars have no problem in discussing this. This is a normal thing. It's a way of life.
Well, it's a way of life, yes. But you know what some brothers are like when you come to women's issues? It's like, ah! And so...
break and run.
Well, straight to the kitchen, put the kettle on, and by the time you come back, we'll have moved on.
Let us come to the subject of how this affects Hajj. In the Hajj time, if she's there doing the pilgrimage and this happens, you must stay there in your place and wait until this ends and then complete your Hajj. But sometimes you can't, so talk to the local scholars there, explain to them how much of the Hajj you've completed, where you are in the stage of your Hajj, what was still needed, and if there's anything that can be worked out there. As I said, anything can be substituted or worked around. There's different ways on so many things and issues, except one. You must be out there on Arafat, on the day of Arafat. If you don't have that, you don't have Hajj, and that's how it is.
Well,
and we ask Allah, by the way, to accept Hajj from all of you. We ask Allah to make it easy for you to do Hajj, and then accept your Hajj, Mabrur, and give all of us His paradise. Ameen. Now.
Well, I was going to say, let's call it a day there, and I want to go on to Medina.
You want to be like the early Sahabi and migrate to Medina.
Yeah.
Let's migrate. All right, let's head north now and a little bit over to the east, and we're going to head up to a place called Yathrib. Now, Yathrib is the name of the place where the Prophet Muhammad's father passed away. That's where his father died, and he was born in Mecca and was orphaned before he was actually birthed. Did you know that? His father died at Yathrib,
I had no
and
idea.
Yathrib was, everybody knew Yathrib by that name, until Prophet Muhammad migrated to that place, and they were very, even his enemies didn't like this idea, and everybody referred to it as the city. Where is he? He's in the city. They didn't call it Yathrib anymore. And the word for city in Arabic is Medina. Al-Medina means the city. Al means the. Al-Medina, the city. And Al-Mecca means the Mecca, by the way.
Well, let's take a break, and then we'll come back and talk about Medina.
Ready when you're ready.
See you later. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum, and welcome back to this special on Hajj. Now then, we've actually performed Hajj. We've done it in a very roundabout way.
Actually, we really did do Hajj one year. That's where I met you.
This is very true.
But now we've been just kind of circumambulating the subject tonight. We've been talking about the various stages of Hajj, not in any particular order, but we did talk about, in our last episode, we were talking about a place called Yathrib. And we discovered that it became known as the city, or Al-Medina. And this is north and a bit east of Mecca. It's a long journey. If you want to walk, it's going to take you several days to get there. And
how necessary is it once you've performed Hajj? How necessary is it that you go to Medina?
It's a good sunnah. It's definitely a good sunnah. The Prophet ﷺ encouraged us to visit him. If you get to do the Hajj and you can get a chance to go to Medina and perform the visit to his gravesite, this is a good thing to give him salams. But as far as it being a part of Hajj or Umrah, that's not true. It isn't. In fact, the first time I did Hajj and Umrah, I intentionally and purposely, willfully did not go to Medina.
Why was that?
Because I had been told by the good scholars that it was not a part of it, and I wanted to show the other Muslims who had never been that subject. I wanted them to bring it up so we could talk about it, in hopes that I would get to do it some other time, because I wanted to do it, but I wanted to be sure that people knew that that was a mistake, because many, many people back in those days were making the mistake of thinking that was part of Hajj, and it is not.
Well, I got to Medina, but I never got to the tomb of the Prophet, peace be upon him. And I was very disappointed, because I was telling somebody far more knowledgeable than myself. I said I really wanted, to pray, and he said, no, you don't pray at the tomb of the Prophet, peace be upon him.
No, you don't do this. It's not about that. It's just to pass by and give the greetings to him and to his companions. That's what you're doing there.
So what is the etiquette?
Well, the first thing when you enter Medina, you're going to observe immediately it's very peaceful. Almost everybody that's ever been to Medina says, this is so peaceful, so beautiful, and they don't want to leave. Then, once you approach, of course, you should make wudu if you don't have it, and go in and pray 2 rak'ah, because you're entering the masjid. This is called Tahiyyat Masjid. This is any masjid anywhere, but it's very beautiful to do it there. If you're able to get to the place called the Rauda, which is a place very close to the Mimbar area, the Prophet ﷺ said it was like a place of Jannah on earth. If you can go there and pray it, it's excellent, but doubtful that you'll ever get into the area. It's so crowded over there, and they fight over that area. But having been on it, it's like a piece of rug, a huge area, I can tell you it's very sweet and very, very peaceful over there. And my wife mentioned that she has constant pain in certain parts of her body, but when she went on that, it went away, and it came back when she stepped off of the area. She didn't want to leave it. It's really beautiful. If you get a chance to go to the Rauda, try to do that. But again, it's not mandatory. It's not a part of Hajj. It's not a mandatory thing. Then when you do pass by the graves of the prophet and his companion side of him. Now that was okay because Aisha was the daughter of him, so he could be there. And by the way, this is even, so you know this, even though they're both dead, she shouldn't be in the area if that's not a close relation to her. So that is what was mentioned in one of the books I read. And then when Omar died, they buried him in there, but then she didn't live there anymore. Mm-hmm. This is what I was told, but I don't know how that works. Anyway, the thing to keep in mind here is none of this is part of Hajj or Umrah. And if you do it, if you go there, try to listen to what they're teaching you, because the people that work there, they know exactly what will get you the most reward. Just listen to what they say. Pass by, give the salams, ask for Allah's mercy and peace to be with the Prophet ﷺ and Allah to accept from his companions, as we always do. And then pass on and let others come up there and do the same thing.
So you don't pray in front of the tomb, you don't kiss it, you just...
Keep your hands in your pocket. Don't touch. Because it's going to be just like what we talked about before with the kiss word. Don't touch these things and think it's a benefit. It could cost you a lot with Allah if you start believing in these superstitions. Then once you're out, by the way, there's the graveyard of the companions, which is close by. You might like to go over there and give salams to them as well. And if a person dies there in Medina during Hajj, they will bury them there for a few months, and then they'll exhume the bodies and take them to another area. If you die there, you'll be buried there for a while. Mm-hmm. It's very important to those who die. They get the chance to do that. In Mecca is the same thing. If you die in Mecca, you'll be buried in a place like that.
Now then, people have said that they prefer Medina to Mecca.
I do, just in Hajj time because it's less crowded. But Mecca is beautiful. But the peace that you feel in Medina, is great.
You see, I prefer Mecca, and I don't know. There's just something.
My wife, I'm just asking because my wife said the same thing. She likes to get 100,000 reward.
The big ones, yeah.
Instead of 1,000.
Well, I mean, but I don't know. There's just something more that the atmosphere, I think, is there. But I remember speaking to somebody from Medina about this, and they were most peeved when I said I preferred Mecca, and they said, "Look, the Mecca has just got a stone. We have the Prophet, peace be upon him."
Well, I don't know. They're correct, at least in that area. But some of the things about Medina you might be interested to know about is that there is very close to Uhud. You get a chance to go out there, and again, you don't have to do it. It's not a part of Hajj or Umrah, but you get a chance to go out there, and I visited a couple of times, and see the hill where the archers were, and see the place on Uhud where the Prophet ﷺ was attacked, and get an idea of what it's really like. So when you hear the stories, you can really feel what happened.
I went there.
Did you also go to...
It was amazing, because you know my big hero is Khalid bin Walid.
Khalid bin Walid, yeah. Well, that's the place, though, that Khalid was still not a Muslim yet.
Yeah,
but he was still smart.
Yeah, he was, and he got on the right side in the end.
Alhamdulillah.
But
now, what about the Qiblatain, Masjid Qiblatain? Did you hear about that?
No.
Okay, this is a mosque of two Qiblas. Because the Qibla, or direction, the word Qibla means direction. The direction for the Salah or the prayers, since the time of the early prophets, has always been Jerusalem. It's never changed. And the Jews still today pray toward Jerusalem. And that was true of Muhammad ﷺ, as well as it was his great-grandfather, which was Ishmael. They always faced toward Jerusalem. And it would have been that way till the day, except Allah, in his book here, sent down a verse that told them to turn their direction, and he told the Prophet ﷺ to a direction more beloved to you. And the Prophet ﷺ knew right away it meant turn toward Mecca, because he loved his birthplace, which was Mecca. And so that was when Qibla was turned. And it was said that the people on this particular